So this is my new ride, the Segway Ninebot Kick Scooter Max G2, and I have been having a blast with this thing. So I actually came out today to record a vlog for my main channel, but a couple of my plans fell through, and I was like, you know what? Let's do a video on this scooter I've been riding for a little while. It's a fun little toy. I got it around Black Friday time. There was some deals going on. I did a ton of research before I ended up picking out this one, and I'm really glad that I did for my very first e-scooter. I live in Florida, right? It's almost always bike weather, and I wanted to get an e-bike at first, and they have some of these guys downtown that you can rent. They don't have pedals on them or anything, so if you run out of juice, you're SOL. But I sat on it for 10 minutes, and my behind hurts. Like, these are not comfortable at all. But then they also have some scooters you can rent, and they only go about 15 miles an hour. They're limited to where you can go with them because they're, tied to like GPS tracking or whatever. But I had so much more fun on the scooter than these e-bikes that I was like, you know what? Let me just get my own scooter, and here we are. But I don't want to just talk about it today. We're going to ride around. So it's actually pretty cool. I got an app here to control it. You don't need the app, but it's just really simple to just slide to power on. I got some cool settings in here that I can change. Whenever I leave it, if I go inside a store or something, I turn on the abnormality alert, which if somebody tries to move it, it just starts beeping and going off. It's actually a pretty solid scooter overall. It's got turn signals on here. If I press it, it blinks, goes left. You can turn the beeping off if you want, but a funny story about this, one of the first times I ever used it at an intersection, the guy across from me stops, holds up several cars of traffic, rolls down his window, and he's like, I really appreciate you using your blinker. I see these scooters all the time and nobody's using them. I will say one of the annoying things, it auto-offs after 10 minutes, and if you close it, it like restarts your ride. So I've already rode for like a few miles, but it restarts it. You can see that 35-mile-an-hour range. It has up to like a 43-mile-an-hour range if you're in the eco mode, but that maxes out at about 10 miles an hour, which isn't really that fun. Oops, I just turned the light on. If you double tap it, it goes to drive mode. Double tap again goes to sport mode. Drive has a max of 15 and sport says it has a max of 22, but I usually get like 21.2 miles an hour on average, maybe a little bit lower. And as the battery gets weaker, it's not as good. But let's take this for a ride. Okay, let's go over here for a sec. Test out that incline. It goes uphill. All right, let's go for a ride. All right. You know what? I went the wrong way. Shh, don't tell nobody. So I'm gonna ride around and tell you about some of the specs. And it keeps pointing to the right when I want it centered so bad. I think we're gonna have to do the together stance. I think that'll be easier for recording. Normally I ride the one foot in front of the other like I rode a scooter when I was a kid, but I think just for ease of recording, I got my feet side by side, which I see a lot of people riding them like that, and it doesn't look as safe, but let's go on with the specs. There's 3 modes I mentioned earlier. There's an eco mode, which is very battery friendly. Let's go here. There's a drive mode, which is a pretty comfortable ride. It's about 15 miles an hour max. You get about a 30-mile range when you stay in that. And for me, the eco mode is pretty slow. It feels like I'm walking. But when I go on the drive mode, it's great for like sidewalks and stuff if I don't have access to a bike lane or if the road's not that safe to ride on. But the sport mode is, yeah, I keep it in sport mode for the most part. There's a big jump in speed going from 15 to 22 miles an hour or 21.7 or whatever I get. It's very windy today. But it says it'll go for about a 25-mile range when you're in sport mode, and I've run the battery down pretty low a handful of times. I don't know if it's exactly 25. It actually says 24.8 on the preview. But usually when I run it, I would say I get over 20, but I don't know if I get exactly 25. And all of those approximate ranges, they measured it with a rider who was 165 pounds, and that ain't me. I'm about 185, 190, so. But this is good. I think if I remember correctly, the weight is up to 265 or 300. I'm gonna maybe have to check the specs later, so I could probably fit a passenger on here. But it also said it's comfortable for riders up to 6'6", and I'm not quite there. I'm 6'3", but it's pretty comfy overall. I don't have to bend over to reach the handlebars. I've seen this scooter around. It's quite popular. I saw a shorter guy that was barely looking over the handlebars, but I think I looked at the range. It said 3'11" to 6'6" you could ride comfortably. So good luck. There's no adjustment. I can't make the handlebars higher or lower, but it is pretty comfortable. And I specifically got this one because it had an approximate 43-mile range when you're on the Eco. I almost never go that far, but just having that little bit of extra battery gives me confidence to ride around. Because my first my first little personal electric vehicle I got was that little go-kart. I don't know if you saw the video. It's a hoverboard with a go-kart attachment. But that thing is so much fun. I ran out of battery on it like a few times. So I wanted to get something with a much longer range. And that will go about 10 miles. If you go 10 miles an hour on it. This will go over 40, it says. So I do go faster than that, but hey, we're in a lot of traffic. I'm trying to get out of here. I've been going 7 miles an hour. All right, let's whip around. I'm testing this mic and camera setup out. I just wanted to see how it works when we're riding. Maybe I can hold off on getting a GoPro or an action cam because this is doing so good. We'll see. All right, let's go here. I'm just gonna try to flip to get this shot here. What the hell? It's doing weird stuff. And then boom, that's how I lock it. Easy. Be very, very quiet. He's hunting rabbits. Look at him. Look at him with the kick there. Bro's getting it. Does he see something? Is he on the hunt right now? Is he on the hunt right now? Let's go, dude. So I have added a few upgrades to it, but this thing is pretty cool out of the box. It's got like a built-in headlight, which, let's see if I can turn that on here. It's decently bright. It comes out in like the shape of a shield. I actually added my own light. I thought I was gonna like save some battery, but with the dual lights, I just get so much coverage when I ride around at night. It's very nice. I showed you the blinkers earlier. Let's just get an idea of how it looks from the front. As long as my hands aren't covering that, it's pretty visible. And then I think it even has hazards. Oh yeah, I think if you click both, I don't know, I'd feel dumb just doing that, just standing in the middle of the road or whatever. Just move your scooter out of the way. And it also has a horn on it. Let me get you a horn test. It's actually a high decibel horn. I've had to honk at a few cars with it, and they can hear me on the inside. There's some of the other settings I'll show you here. It's got like a walk mode, kind of sucks. I think the max speed is like 2.8 miles an hour, but I feel like I'm about to fall over the whole time. It's like a balancing act. I use the energy recovery mode, so when I let off the throttle, it just like, it really slows down trying to regen some battery. I think it does that on the back wheel. And if you disable it, your scooter will just coast, or if you put it on weak, it doesn't do it as much. But I find it helps me stop a bit easier when I keep that on, and I don't have to use the front brake as much. And I think it only has the front brake. One of the main reasons I got this was because it has dual hydraulics. It has hydraulic in the front, and then it's got hydraulics in the back. A bunch of reviews that I read said like the lesser version, I think it's called like the G30 I almost got, doesn't have the same level of suspension. And they said like a long ride on the road, you're just really gonna feel it. So I spent a little bit more just to get that suspension. They're tubeless self-repairing tires. I saw a video like if you run over a nail or something, it just seals itself on the inside. Look pretty cool. I have larger feet, so I'm not a big fan of this. This is bigger than some of the other ones that I've seen, but this little latch is for when you fold it, the handlebars will clip here so you can carry it. The back of my shoe gets caught there sometimes because I have a tendency to put my foot there, so I felt like it grabbed my foot a few times. I don't love it, but it's not terrible, and you can't put your foot on here, so not my favorite. And I actually have it set to flash the lights when you brake, but I think there's a couple options for that. So another feature they have, I think is weird. They have a built-in Apple Find My feature. So if I have an iPhone and I lose it, I can track the scooter, but I don't have an iPhone, doesn't work with my Samsung. There's no third-party way to do it. Hopefully they add Samsung support in the future, but like, good luck if you get your scooter stolen and you got a Samsung, I guess. Now, I like the handles. They got a little bit of give to them. I'm not super scooter savvy, so I guess when they don't move, maybe your hands slip off easier. It just auto off. I don't like that because it's gonna reset my overall trip. The throttle is pretty easy to use. I've only used a handful of different ones, and this is this clip hooks on that latch on the fender. Conveniently, the bag that I put on kind of gets in the way, so I gotta push it to the side, but I barely clip it to carry it like that. I got a list of the specs. Now, I think this is a feature I haven't actually tried yet. The default is off. The traction control system, the anti-skid TCS, I think it's in the app, but you have to turn it on. They got the self-healing tubeless, they got the integrated turn signals, the high decibel horn, you heard that earlier, all-weather resistant tires. I don't really ride around in the rain, or I try to skip puddles. If it's wet, I just don't ride it because I think that I'm gonna ruin this. And the advanced battery management system, I'd say I did a decent amount of research. The battery on this seemed better than a lot of the other options. There's a ton of stuff on Amazon, but I wanted to get like a brand name that I've heard of, and the only one I've heard of is Segway. But now that I've done a lot of research, I think in the future I'm gonna get another one. But let's ride a little bit more and I'll talk more about it. Show you more about what this thing can do. So I think this scooter is 36 volts, and a lot of other ones that I looked at in the price range, they're 48 volts. I don't know if that makes a huge difference. And that beep that you just heard, when it stops moving, it goes into a park mode and it beeps. But like, I don't know, if I'm sitting still and holding the scooter, if I'm like not using the kickstand and I try to hold it really still, it just like, it beeps, and then it doesn't think it's in park, and then it beeps again. And I don't know, I don't love that feature. I wish I could turn it off, but I didn't see an option for it. And that max range in sport mode, I don't know, that 22. Usually when I have the Segway speedometer pulled up on the app, it usually hits about 21.7, 21.8, and then it'll dip down to 21.2 or 3, and then hover around there. And it's like, I mean, that's fine. It feels pretty good, but once you get lower in battery, it does not go as fast anymore. Like around, I think 60% battery is when I noticed the first little hit in speed. And I was riding the other day, and when it got below 50% battery, it would only go about like 18, 19 mile an hour max. And the lower the battery gets, the lower that max speed goes. And you can just feel it get weaker. It accelerates a little bit slower. It doesn't hit that max speed. But compared to a lot of the other ones in the price range, I feel like I get a decent riding range on this. A lot of the other ones were like 15 mile an hour max, and they'll go 15 to 18 miles. And it's like, that's not that great. But I've a handful of times gone over 20 miles, and I usually keep it in sport mode most of the time. Okay, I got a little distracted. I was talking about I like to toggle the modes to save battery, because it's like just a jump in efficiency. But I found a nice little incline here. It says it goes up like 20, 22 degrees. I don't know what that is, but I know it'll go up this easily. Let's try it out. I'm right at the bottom of it. Should I just start at the bottom and just see if it'll go right up from 0? I don't know if that's 22%, but it looks like it. I don't know. Let's go. Oh yeah, I gotta. Oh, I got no momentum. Oh, maybe that's more. Okay, hang on. Let me get a little bit of momentum. I think I can go up that. Okay, so that made it up that. This is a nice little parking area. Oh, this is the up one. I went up the down one. Maybe that was my issue. All right, just activated the cruise control. I don't know if I mentioned that, but if ever I need to like toggle anything with one hand, I have it set to where I just hold the throttle in place and then hold one of the turn signals down for 3 seconds, and then it turns on the cruise control for whatever speed I was going. It took me a little bit to get used to. I don't use it that often, but it is a nice little feature. You can't really take your hands off. So I don't end up using the cruise control that much, but it is a nice little feature. I think if it was easier to toggle, I would use it more, but because I have to hold it down for like 3 seconds, it gets a little bit weird. And I think there's another option where you can do it for 5 seconds, but I just went with whatever the easier one seemed to be, and I don't even use it that much. All right, we're gonna roll through one of these side streets. So it's really nice to have this. I've been riding it a ton. I didn't know I was gonna enjoy it as much as I did. I rented the ones downtown over here a few times, but they only go 15 miles an hour. You can't take them everywhere. There's like a few areas where it'll just slow your speed if it detects that you're there, and it's like, Well, I'm trying to go fast. And when I first hopped on this one, it went 22 for the first time. I was very excited. The 15 felt like nothing. If 15 feels fast when all you've ever gone was 15, now you go. I can't stand people that do four-way stops wrong. Like, if you stopped first, you go first. I'm not gonna play your I'm gonna be a little bit more polite than you game, because now that just took us both longer to get where we were going, because she tried to be polite. Don't be polite, just drive correct. That's more polite than trying to be polite. Drive in a way that people have seen before. Drive in a predictable way. If it's your turn to go, go. I think it's kind of popping down here. It's Saturday, I got UFC fights on in about an hour or so. I'm gonna be watching those live on my Twitch stream, where if you haven't checked me out on Twitch, what are you doing? Ab, Landa Lincoln, nice. Let's go this way. But I'm really stoked I got this. It was about 800 bucks when I got it for Black Friday. That's usually the price I see. Sometimes it's 1,000. I think it came out in the middle of 2023 and it was about 1,400 bucks when it released. But I usually see them go for about 800. And honestly, that's a decent price compared to some of the other stuff I've seen. I'm basically getting what the specs tell me I'm getting as far as speed and range. They did do all the tests with somebody a little bit lighter than myself, but I think they did the testing with somebody who's 165, I said, but I'm still getting pretty close to what they predict, or what they estimate, I should say. So I initially got this just because I was having so much fun with the rent-a-scooters down here, but I ride this all the time. If I have a short errand to run, within a few miles, I take the scooter unless I need to carry something. I don't need to take my car. But also, it folds up easy. I can stick it in the car, drive somewhere, and ride there for a decent amount of time. I've saved a bunch of money on the Ubers this year with this scooter, right? Put it in the back of the car, drive to the mechanic, drop my car off and ride the scooter home, you know? I gotta buy a new car because the repairs on it are more than I paid for the car. But you know, I saved a little bit of money on the Uber trips back to my house, and I had a little joyride on the scooter, so there's that. And I'm trying to work on a setup for like my IRL streams. When I go walking around on Twitch, can I get a setup to where I can ride around on the scooter for a portion of it? Or I don't know, but this thing makes me want to get more scooters. I think I'm gonna make a few more videos with this one. Subscribe if you like this and you want to see more scooter content, definitely, because I think I have plans for more stuff in the future. But there's a lot of, there's a scooter. There's a lot of different scooters out here, you know? I've seen so many. They seem to be popping off in my area, where like a year or two ago, I didn't see any. And now I see them wherever I go. I'm gonna turn here. I'm just exploring areas I haven't been, riding through neighborhoods. That's another thing too, is it ups my exploration by a bunch. Like, I swear, for a long time, I always wonder what's in all these plazas that I drive by. You ever drive down the road and you pass like 500 shops and you're like, what stores did I pass? Were there secret hole-in-the-wall restaurants? Was there a cool hobby store or something that I passed? But when I ride around on the scooter, I can get up and close. I can check out every little area. I can zip around pretty quickly. And it's really fun for exploring the city. So I think I'm gonna do stuff in the future where I take it to other cities for my vlogs and stuff and get some fun vibes exploring. I've seen some off-road scooters that are interesting to me. I've seen some very cheap ones. I almost got like a super cheap one. I think my next one will be like one of the cheapest scooters I can get for anybody that's just like super curious. And leave me a comment and let me know if this is an interesting idea. But I might just grab like, I've seen some for $189, like $200 scooters that have seemingly decent specs. It's not gonna go as fast or as far as this, but for 200 bucks, get yourself a little electric scoot, a little Scooty Puff Jr., a little Scooty Puff Senior. Could be worth it. It's really fun. Like when I was a kid, I used to ride a Razor scooter a lot, and those are fun. It gives me the nostalgia of like back when I used to ride my Razor scooter, and I'm going way faster than I used to, but it's nostalgic. It's convenient. I'm having fun. I'm liking this overall. Seeing if I can get a little shot of my reflection in my camera setup. I got my pocket mounted to my backpack here. Got the helmet. I got the smart glasses I can record, but it's vertical and the audio gets choppy. I think the setup's decent, but if I have fun doing these scooter videos, I think I'm getting a GoPro or an action cam soon. Watch out, watch out, watch out! Tried to get a drone shot before it got too dark, and I slammed on my brakes to see how well the drone would do, and it just crashed. Instead of hitting me in the back of the head, it was like, I'm just gonna shut off in the middle of the air. It's kind of wild. It's the DRE. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little scooter adventure today. I've had this Segway scooter for a couple months now, and I got a few hundred miles on it. I figured I'd make a video about it today. But I'm more impressed with this scooter than I thought. I'm having a lot more fun riding it than I was anticipating. I knew I was gonna have fun, but dang it, this is so much fun. So leave me a comment if you know about any other e-scooters I should check out. I think I'm gonna look at some of the cheaper options, maybe start around $200 and see if I can find something worth shaking a stick at. But as always, come check me out on Twitch. I go live 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific every night. Nice little area. Ooh. Did we get some nature in the video? Yeah, let's stop and get some nature. What the duck? Let's go see your friends, your cousins. All right, I'm not gonna be that guy and ride through all the birds here chilling, but bro, they're just chilling. These are the homies. What's up, guy? I don't know if we're gonna put this in. I just wanted to hit the loop. You gotta really lean into the turn here. I can't go max speed, it's too sketch. I can go like 16. I'm like leaned over sideways. Dang. That was sketchy. Either way, have a lit dude. Either way, have a lit day, my dudes. I'll see you at the next one.